The Igbos never developed Lagos. See the people who did it, Yusuf exclaimed. Lagos is the state with the highest GDP in Nigeria, having a gross domestic product of over $90 billion. The economy of Lagos is said to be larger than that of Kenya and Ivory Coast, and if it were a country, it would be the seventh largest in Africa. Apparently, achieving that feat is not a day's job, as it took the state severe years and decades to get to that point. However, it is important to note that the state had already been getting favorable treatment right from the colonial era, when it was the seat of government. The Igbos developed Lagos has been a very issue statement and notion that many people are beginning to believe. Inasmuch as the Igbos are one of the most industrious and hardworking people in the country, it shouldn't call for identity politics. The article is aimed at giving a clearer view of how Lagos was developed. Lagos was declared a colony on 5th March 1862. The remainder of modern-day Nigeria was seized in 1887, and when the Colony and Protectorate of Nigeria was established in 1914, Lagos became its capital, continuing as such after the country's independence from Britain in 1960. Along with migrants from all over Nigeria and other West African nations, where the returnee ex-slaves known as Creoles, who came from Freetown, Sierra Leone, Brazil, and the West Indies to Lagos. The Creoles contributed to Lagos' modernization, and their knowledge of Portuguese architecture can still be seen from the architecture on Lagos Island. Since the 19th century, Lagos gradually transformed to a melting pot of Africans and Europeans. Railway links and telephone cables connecting Lagos to London and being established by 1886. Electric street lighting was introduced in the city in 1898. Lagos experienced rapid growth throughout the 1960s and 1970s as a result of Nigerian economic boom. This easily tells that Lagos had been developing since the beginning of colonialism, before the mass migration of Lagos to the city. However, it is important to take note of the modern-day development in Lagos. Most of the biggest companies and contributors to Lagos State IGR internal generated revenue are multinational companies which aren't owned by the Igbos. The term, in terms of terrorism and hospitality, most big runners aren't owned by the Igbos. Example, Eco Hotel and Suite, which is owned by the Lebanese Nigerians. Infrastructure. Infrastructure is one of the major basics for analyzing a society's development. Now, we will be looking at the top 10 construction companies in Lagos and their owners according to the Nigerian Infopedia.com.ng website. Julius Berger, a Nigerian construction company founded by German-born Julius Berger. China Civil Engineering Construction Company Limited, a Chinese construction company. Renault Construction Company, a Switzerland company. Kappa and De Battle plc, an Italian company. El Alan Construction Company, founded by the Andre Gede. As it can be seen, the top builders of the Lagos infrastructure are not Igbo companies. We would also like to look at some notable projects in Lagos State and those who played a role in it. Third Mainland Bridge, constructed by Julius Berger. Lekki-Ikoyi Link Bridge, constructed by Julius Berger. Lekki-Epe Expressway, financed by the African Development Bank (ADB), a multilateral development finance institution. Banana Island, developed by City Property Development Limited, with Chief Adebayo Adeleke as the managing director. Eco Atlantic, developed by the Chagori Group, a Lebanese Nigerian group. Victoria Island, initially developed by the colonial government. Lekki, developed by the Ministry of Urban Planning and Physical Development. The project chairman, Demola Alade Komo. Thank you for listening to this news. You can imagine, my viewers, I am very much ashamed, so much ashamed that this kind of write-up can even come up. I am ashamed. What do we talk? What do we mean by development? What do we mean by development? First of all, it seems that so many people don't really understand the difference between development and setup. See, without development, all of these things that are put in place or that are set up cannot be maintained. The coming or the arrival or the presence of the Igbos is what warranted the maintenance and further development of these infrastructures. You are mentioning infrastructures. Now, these infrastructures being put in place without the presence of the Igbos, how can these infrastructures be maintained? How can they be maintained and gain further construction? How? Without the presence of Igbos, see, let me tell you, all of this infrastructure that you have just mentioned now, they will die off. They will wear out. And once they are weared out, they will no longer be useful. The revenue that the Lagos State is generating, yes, they are generating revenue from this already mentioned organization you just mentioned now. But I'm telling you that the revenue that Lagos State is generating, mostly the highest revenue comes from the Igbos. You mentioned 6 giant companies in Lagos, good and fine, but do you know how many Igbos have investment in Nigeria, in Lagos State? They are uncountable. And most of these Igbos are equal to this organization. I can mention 200 Igbos that are equal to these organizations that have mighty investment that is even more than this company that have just been mentioned here in this write-up. So what is this writer talking about? It means that this writer is not invoked and he still doesn't know what he's saying. He still really need to go back and do his research. To be frank, he still need to go back and do his research. Seriously. Everybody know it. It is clear. There is no debate about it. That the GDP of Lagos State is booming or is at the very high side is because of the investment set up here in Lagos. Why did you mention the international trade fair? You are mentioning Eco Hotel. What does Eco Hotel have to do with? Can you compare Eco Hotel to international trade fair? Where we have different businesses owned by different individuals. After the Igbos finished setting up this place, they gave room for even other tribes to come in and still trade on the same place. And this is the main reason why Ojukwu is still very much angry with Igbo, saying that they have messed up. In fact, my viewers, your comments concerning this news are very much important. Please don't forget to leave them behind. Click on the subscription buttons as well as bell buttons to receive more updates. Thank you.